Hello, namaste. My name is Kapil Dulal, and today I'll be discussing why the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. Okay, as we're probably familiar with the rule of 72, the rule of 72 is basically 72 divided by our rate of return is the number that we get is the amount of years that it's going to take to double our investment. Okay, let's say there's an 18-year-old fellow just straight out of high school, graduated high school, and he decided to work for 2 years. He decided to work for 2 years and he had saved around $50,000. And he decided to invest that $50,000. So let's look at this. He's 20 years right now, $50,000. 6 years later, he'll be 26, $100,000. And then 6 years later, when he's 32, he'll have $200,000. By the time he gets 38 years old, the $200,000 will compound to $400,000. By the time he's 44 years old, the $400,000 will compound to $800,000. And by the time he's 50 years old, the $800,000 will compound to whopping $1.6 million. And by the time he's 56 years old, the $1.6 million will compound to $3.2 million. And by the time he's 62 years old, by the time this fellow is 62 years old, that $3.2 million will compound to $6.4 million. Okay, everyone on the same page? And get this. So, 6 years after, by the time this fellow is 68 years old, that $6.4 million will compound all the way to $12.8 million. Okay, so I want you guys to focus on one detail here. From 20 to 62, it took him around, how many years is that? 42 years? Something like that? It took him around 42 years to accumulate $6.8 million. It took him 42 years to accumulate $6.4 million, but it only took him 6 more years after the 42 years to accumulate $12.8 million. This is the magic of compounding. So imagine how much money he could have compounded if he started with $12.8 million. Imagine at the beginning, when that fellow was 20 years old, he had $6.4 million. If he had started with $6.4 million, by the time that fellow was 68, you probably have, I'd like to say over $1 billion, but I think it's a little bit lower than that, but he'll have hundreds of $1 million. He'll have the freedom to do anything in this world which he pleases. So this fellow, he only had $50,000 to invest. He accumulated $12.8 million, but his daughters will probably be in a position where they can invest maybe $3.2 million, $6.4 million. And by the time they retire, they'll accumulate hundreds of millions of dollars and live in total freedom. Generation has to sacrifice for another generation to be rich. But unfortunately, that generation is you. If you don't invest, then your future generations would have to be the generation that has to sacrifice. So the choice is yours. Do you want to sacrifice and have your kids live in absolute financial freedom, or do you want them to sacrifice and have their grandkids live in financial freedom? The choice is yours. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me today. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope you learned something new, and stay tuned, stay subscribed. I'll have videos like this coming all the time. Thank you.